Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a good day. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my man Deion Sanders and something really interesting he just did at Jackson State University, where his goal was to teach his athletes the very high cost of groupies. So get comfortable, buck up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor on the Black Financial Channel. We talk about Black economics and Black wealth every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under one condition. The condition is that we would ask that you be Black first. Black first means that we put our community at the top of the priority list. Black first means that we understand that being smarter means that you can get ahead faster. Black first also means that we're going to build our community, whether white people want us to do it or not. So if you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? How you doing? I'm going to say hi real quick to Ronnie Hunter and Ivy Yancey and Justin Moore. Let me know what city you're coming from. Put your city in the chat if you feel compelled to do so. How many of you, let me ask you a yes or no question. How many of you saw Deion Sanders and that interesting little thing he did at Jackson State with the girl Brittany Renner? And then you may not even know who Brittany Renner is. How many of you even know who Brittany Renner is? How many of you know what Deion Sanders did? Why he brought Brittany Renner onto campus. What's up, my homeboy? I see my homeboy Wall Street Trappers here. What's up, Big Trap? Much respected, Big Trap. So such a smart brother. So let's see. Brandon Swoop. Let's see. We have Gregory and Dale and Gordon. All right. So I see some of you saw it, some of you didn't. Well, let me show you just some visuals. Brittany Renner. Let me just give you the short update on Brittany Renner, who she is and what she represents, and why Deion Sanders took the time to bring Brittany to campus. Someone said it's a little bit dangerous to bring her around your young boys because she's a real pretty thing, but she reminds you of that Bill DeVoe song, that girl is poison, never trust a big butt and a smile. Well, she's got a big butt and a smile, and I don't know if you can trust any of that. But anyway, Brittany Renner is right here in this picture. You can see her. She's the one that's posing with her booty out. And she's also posing with the newborn baby next to a stunned-looking basketball player by the name of P.J. Washington, who plays for the Charlotte Hornets. I knew about P.J. because he played at the University of Kentucky. You guys know I am an alumnus of the University of Kentucky. Well, the whole conversation, in case you want a quick update on what happened, is that basically P.J. Washington felt like he was duped. Brittany showed up on campus looking real cute, wearing a University of Kentucky sweatshirt, and she did look good in that sweatshirt. And got PJ thinking with his little head, not his big one. The big head is where your big black brain is at, but then the little head is where the rest of your little penis is at. And basically, she got him caught up. He had a baby with her, and she's interesting. She's been in these pictures with porn stars, and she's just something else. And she also has been known to date a lot of famous athletes and stuff like that, and entertainers like Drake and all that stuff. And on top of that, she actually did a video that was almost incriminating in the sense that she basically said this. She said that if you want to get money, if you want to come up on a check off an athlete, or she said sleep with an athlete. She said basically if you want to get paid, go get an athlete, sleep with them. And she said a lot of them will sleep with you without a condom on, and that's how you can get paid. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit because I really think any person that's intelligent enough to see through the layers of any of that will just understand how that's all kinds of fucked up. Excuse my French. That's all kinds of what are you thinking? For everybody. It's not just her, right? It's everybody, right? For some reason, we talk all day about COVID, but ain't nobody remembering that you got major STDs out here. But maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. Am I the crazy one? So anyway, here's some other images. This is Deion Sanders back in the day when he played for the Cowboys. Those of you who are not old enough to have watched Deion Sanders play, you need to go back and watch the old clips. My man was amazing, probably one of the best, probably top 10, maybe NFL athletes of all time. He was actually really good at football and at baseball, right up there with Bo Jackson. And he was the guy that would tell you he was going to score a touchdown and then score it. So he was a magic man. I love Deion Sanders. He was a great athlete. And so there's some more images of Brittany in case you want something to think about tonight, something that you can look at but don't touch. She's to be seen and not touched. But anyway, that's what it is. So here's what happened. Here's what happened most recently. So Deion brings Brittany Renner to campus. So all the athletes are like, whoa, they're all tripping out because they know about Brittany. They know that she's like the most famous gold digger on earth. And she sits and gives she becomes a guest lecturer at Jackson State. She is the expert. She's the scientist. She's the hoologist. You know, she can give you the groupie science. And she explains to the guys, that basically, that there are women that'll use you, that when you become famous, people want to be next to you. People want to take something from you. Most relationships are transactional. It was cool. I mean, it was really cool. I got it and I liked it. I like Deion Sanders. I like what he was doing for the guys. I think it's a beneficial conversation, right? It's a lesson that you can learn perhaps more effectively if she's right there in front of you, but it's also a lesson you can learn from a distance as well, right? Anybody sort of watching the whole thing go down with PJ Washington and Brittany Renner would kind of understand that not everybody who looks good is good for you, right? We know this, right? Just like some old Popeye's chicken. It looks delicious, but that shit will kill you, right? Now, here's where I wanted to kind of break down. You know, I like when I do the Dr. Boyce breakdown, I see all the writing between the lines, and none of this is on any level meant to critique what happened here. I approve this message. I think it's good. Maybe she was doing a good thing by talking to the guys. Do I think she's a good person? I think that's subjective, right? I wouldn't want her around, but maybe somebody else would. I mean, there's somebody for everybody. But here's one thing that I thought was interesting in her breakdown, her analysis. One thing that she said was she basically said everybody who is with you, especially when you are famous, wants something from you. They want something from you. And I agree with that 100%, right? Most relationships on some level are transactional, right? I know that you are raised on this myth, on this thing called unconditional love, where you are some people are supposed to come along and offer you the world and ask for nothing in return and just love you because they just love you and want to be with you just because they agreed to be with you. I don't believe in that world. I don't believe, even my wife. My wife loves me. I mean, my wife has my back. She's had my back for a long time. But I believe that if I suddenly became a terrible, terrible, terrible man, if I suddenly threw all my money down the drain, gained a gambling addiction and lost every penny, started beating her ass every Tuesday before dinner, started sleeping with every woman on the block, and started using crack, I think my wife would probably walk away, right? And I could say, well, you said you was gonna love me forever. Come on now, really, seriously, right? So the idea of unconditional love or somebody just wanting you for you is just not. I mean, that just doesn't happen, right? And one thing that the hoologist might understand, that's what she is. She's a whole, like you got a zoologist, you got a hoologist, right? The zoologist studies the zebras and the bears and the gorillas. Well, the hoologist will study the different types of gold diggers. You got different types. Like you got the New York City gold digger, you got the Dallas gold diggers, you got the ones in LA. They all have a different kind of approach. You even have gold diggers and groupies in every category. I mean, in any space where a man has resources, and this goes back to biology. Y'all don't know this. See, I don't really look at gold diggers in the way everybody else does, right? I understand to some extent because relationships are transactional. If you remember, anybody remember that song? Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. Anybody remember that song? Okay, well, that song basically, you could say, well, you're a gold digger because you're saying ain't nothing going on but the rent. And the only way I can get with you is if I pay bills or if I... Well, that's because women, most people generally, but women especially, I figured this out when I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking a lot of years ago. Most women operate on a condition where they need security of some sort in order to feel attracted to you. They just do. Just like, and actually for men, what I have found is that men aren't necessarily needing the security. They want the fertility. That's why you like the big booty. In case you ever wondered why you see a big booty, some of y'all men in here do. Come on, don't tell the truth, right? You see a big booty, you start salivating, you start acting like you at Ponderosa on the Sunday afternoon, right? And you just are like, oh my God, I can't help it. I'm just so attracted. I can't do it. I don't know how to control it. Well, it's because you're attracted to fertility. You're attracted to fertility. That's what's happening on a subconscious, instinctual, animalistic level. It's the fertility. That's why maybe the younger women, might get a little bit more play than when they're not as young anymore, right? It is what it is, right? So the women tend to, from what I have observed, not in every case, you cannot generalize too much, but most women are attracted to various forms of of security, right? So it might be the man with the big muscles who gives financial security. It might be the man with the big brain. That's where my groupies have come from. Just so you know, I have had groupies before, and if you are a groupie, please don't approach me because I can spot it from a mile away. Because I'll sit there and I'll just look at you and just be thinking about just like watching your game happen as it's happening, and then I'm like, I ain't going nowhere near none of that you just offered me because I don't believe in that, right? That creates a lot of drama. But yeah, sometimes it might be intelligence, right? A smart man can protect you better than a stupid man. That's why women like smart men. They don't like stupid men. It might be power. You know, Barack Obama, when Barack Obama became president of the United States, he suddenly became one of the most wanted men in the world. He became one of the most sexiest men ever. You think Barack Obama was one of the most sexiest men in the world when he was so broke he couldn't even afford to get a rental car? You think he was sexy then, ladies? Was he sexy then? Not as much as being president of the United States, where he could drop a nuclear warhead on your house if he wanted to with the push of a button, right? That's a lot of power. Power is very attractive. It's a type of security. Also, money. When a man gets rich, he automatically gets more handsome, right? You have more money. And again, it's not. And here's the thing, right? Here's where I want to get to. The fact that a woman is attracted to security does not make her necessarily a bad person. It's not. I really think that there's a little bit of an imbalance, right? Sometimes we'll say, well, you wouldn't love me if I was broke. Well, she could also say, well, you wouldn't love me if I cut my booty off. Or you wouldn't love me if I wasn't balling no more and I wasn't playing for the Cowboys no more. Well, you wouldn't love me if I gained, you wouldn't love her if she gained 400 pounds. Even if she gained the weight having your kids, some guys will be like, you too fat. I used to think you were sexy, but you fat and your booty's gone. And right. So let's just be honest. Relationships are generally transactional. And I think that's what you can learn from the Brittany Renners of the world is Brittany. The interesting thing about the Brittany Renners to me is they keep it so raw that it almost becomes very low vibrational. It almost disrespects the very sacred process of human beings coming together to procreate and make children and all this other stuff, right? A lot of people forget sex is not for orgasm. Sex is for reproduction, right? I hope we can agree on that, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have your fun. Everybody does, but it's like sometimes we think everything's about the hookup. Now, let me tell you why. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or to judge anybody's lifestyle, because I know people are swiping left on Tinder every day, and that's all good. Do what you want. Do you. But here's the thing. I think that sometimes when we try to play God, when we try to outsmart God and Mother Nature, we play ourselves for suckers, right? I think that when we think we have hacked reality and found a loophole that allows us to just do whatever we want and not expect there to ever be a consequence for that, I really think you might be lying to yourself. I really think that perhaps you might not have seen the other shoe drop yet that comes with sexual irresponsibility. Now, I know in hip hop, they're always promoting the hookup, the instant girl, the whatever. And I know as men, we feel like, okay, I got to hit that. Look at me. I'm the lucky one. I've just seen enough situations by now where you really weren't the lucky one. Laying down with a Brittany Renner. Let me tell you this. I'll be honest. I hope that's okay if I can be honest. I hope I can be honest and still be loved. A Brittany Renner, she is a gorgeous lady. I mean, my God, let's pull her picture back up so we can just talk about how pretty she is. I want to just give her props. She's a beautiful young woman, and I don't think she has any reason to be ashamed of that, right? I think that's great for her, and I'm happy for her, and I think that beauty, I hope that it works for her, right? She's a pretty girl. But let me just tell you, a woman like that is the kind of woman you look at from a distance. You appreciate that from a distance. A lot of guys don't want to run up on it. And the thing about it is when I see Brittany, here's what I see. I see a very attractive woman who probably has a mental illness, who seems cold, very, very cold. Like as soon as you lose your NBA contract, you are, you're worthless to her. She is going to be a shitty mother to your children. Because I'm not saying a hoe can't be a good mom, and there's plenty of moms, plenty of ex-hoes that become wonderful moms. I'm not judging that part, but it's like the fact that she is, showing her booty on Instagram for a living, that's going to embarrass your child. And you get a woman like that pregnant, your son's growing up and he's in the 3rd grade, and his friends are like, I looked on Instagram from just a few years ago, and your mama's a hoe. And next thing you know, your son has to take karate classes because he's gonna be fighting every day, right? No little boy. I'm sorry if anybody can confirm this. No little boy, and maybe girls see it different, but I don't know of a single little boy anywhere who is proud when his mama is like a public hoe. Like if she's private, that's her business. But if it's public, it's like, damn, mama, like can't you keep it in? Like what the hell, mama? But maybe the world is changing. Maybe people don't care about that stuff anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I will say though, that it's one of those things that's really interesting because when Deion brings the athletes to listen to Brittany Renner, which I think is a good thing because Deion, I like Deion. If I ever meet him, I'm gonna say that was a good thing you did, man. I like you a lot. You're a smart guy. I really kind of am a little bit confused about how the brothers can be so disciplined in every other area of life, but yet when it comes to where we have no sort of effort to understand the importance of perhaps being disciplined about what women we choose to get with. Doesn't mean you can't, love the big button and smile. Doesn't mean you can't like the pretty girls. But to me, again, maybe I'm just seeing things on a different level. I have no idea. But to me, the smart men I know would look at a Brittany Renner and they say, yeah, she looks real good, but I'm going to stay over here. And the reason I'm going to stay over here is because I'm not about to ruin my life over an orgasm. I'm not about to bring a woman next to me or in my space on any level who might destroy me. I don't want a woman. I got too much to protect over here, right? I got too much future to live. I want to be a king one day, and a king can't have the poison right there in his circle. The king must be selective about the type of person that's next to me on any level, even if you're not my wife, even if you're like secondary and we just hooking up, right? Even then, because I'm laying down with you, I'm vulnerable. I mean, do y'all understand this? I need y'all to understand this, right? Y'all don't think I see anything. Maybe I don't know what people think. I have no idea how people view me, but I will tell you this. I have seen a lot. I have met a lot of celebrities. I have met rappers. I have met athletes. I have met scholars. I have met world leaders. I have been in spaces that you cannot even imagine and heard stories that would blow your mind. I have heard stories about gang leaders who had one gang leader. This is a true story. Like Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes had a true story. Let me tell y'all a true story that blew my mind. I heard it 13 years ago. This lady told me that there was a gang leader in Baltimore who was in jail, who had a girlfriend who was drop dead gorgeous, who was really good at doing the Brittany Renner routine, right? The girl, she pretended to be the girl next door, but really she wasn't. She was the killer hoe who might stab you in your sleep. But she pretended to be the girl next door, like, oh gosh, I've never seen one that big before. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you don't know. Some of y'all ladies probably do that too. And it's okay. Like, keep doing your thing. And so anyway, what he would do, I swear to God, this is a real life thing, is he would tell his girlfriend, because she loved him. She was very loyal to him. So from jail, he would tell her, I want to get that Negro killed. I want to have him killed. I need you to go into the barbershop and I need you to go in with your booty shorts on, look cute, get his attention because he's a sucker. He'll go for anything that looks good in the skirt and get him back to the hotel, get him naked. And then he would send his boys in right then and he would kill the guy. He would literally have the guy killed while he's naked. And so to me, again, if you're trying to be strategic, if you're trying to win, again, and athletes are in that category, right? Athletes, you out on the field, right? You gotta have a strategy, you gotta be disciplined, you've been pumping iron, you're ready to try to win, right? You gotta be courageous to go on the field. Well, you probably want to have that same attitude with life, right? And the thing about it is that I think that I would encourage Black men who even care, who give a shit about anything that I might say on this, to understand that to be successful, you must be strategic. To win, you must have some level of some ability to display discipline in all the choices that you make. Like you can't be super disciplined on the football field, but be sloppy as hell when it comes to your personal life, because eventually your personal life will spill over and ruin everything you have going on that's good for you, right? So ultimately, when I heard that story, it made me realize this. Look, women are not Brittany. This is why I'm glad the Brittany Renners are out there. This is why the hoologists are doing a favor for society. But as long as you study them from a distance, I don't see her as a scholar or any sort of decent human being. I just see her as a person who got paid by Jackson State to come in and give a speech. And her speech, and I listened to her speak, and she didn't sound like all intelligent or anything. But she sounded like she understands her game. She understands her game and how to get over on stupid people. That's what she's basically saying is, if you're stupid, I'm going to fuck you literally and figuratively. Like, if you're stupid, I will get over on you, right? Smart men, I think, can see right through that. And the reason women like that are beneficial is because I think that they can let you know that that if you can't be disciplined about what types of women you allow around you, eventually that will catch up with you and that will destroy you. I'll give you another example, a real life true story. Again, I'm going Kevin Hart on y'all. True story. I know a lot of cops, and because my daddy was a cop. And one thing that they told me is they said inevitably in many cases, if a guy had committed a crime, let's say he killed somebody, he would fall in love with some girl. They would have pillow talk, and then he would just confess, like in a moment of vulnerability, yeah, I killed him and I had to shoot him because blah 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 blah. And the girl would be like, baby, I can keep a secret. I will never tell nobody. And then the minute the relationship ends, or she's mad because she caught him with another girl, she would go straight to the police and tell them everything based on what he told her. Right. And that let me know that the point I'm going to is this: love and sex and all that stuff, that is a vulnerability. That is a place where you are vulnerable. And when you are in a space of vulnerability, you must be around people you trust. Right. Like the most vulnerable I've ever been in my life that I can think of was when I had to get surgery and they put me under. They gave me a drug. I was knocked out. Like I could not have responded to a nuclear bomb because I was that far under. The only thing I had to protect me while I was sleeping was the woman that's in the other room called my wife. That's the only person I had that could protect me. That really made me reflect on the fact that I, for that moment, said, I'm really glad I have a solid ass woman that's going to fight for me while I cannot fight for myself. Right. And so when you are in love, you're vulnerable. Ladies, when that man gets in your body and he's making you shake and shimmy and all this other stuff that you're doing, you become extremely vulnerable. The science says that when a woman has multiple orgasms, it makes a man, she gives a lot of trust to that man. She becomes very connected to that man because of a chemical in your brain called oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. It's the same chemical that bonds a mother and child. And you know how strong a mother-child bond is. This is science. This is what really happens. So to me, the fact that you're letting somebody basically get you drunk, letting somebody make you unconscious, effectively, you become unconscious, means to me that you better take the time to vet that son of a bitch that you decide to give that much power to. Seriously, if you give that much away, like ladies, if you give that much away because he took you out on a couple of dates and told you that you were cute, and you haven't really properly vetted him, well, you might be running into some problems later on. Right? Like, I have some black women have a lot of a disposable income because a lot of black women, unfortunately, aren't getting married as much. And women in their 30s and 40s, they have a lot of disposable income, a lot of education. They tend to attract a lot of men that I remember one of my friends used the term hobosexuals. Hobosexuals are basically men who basically bum off of women that are doing well financially. Right? So the hobosexuals are attracted to you. And I have friends who are doing well professionally who literally had their credit cards like taken by these hobosexuals who would then go and buy shoes. This is another true story. I'm going straight Kevin Hart today. Another true story. I knew a woman who had a credit card, and the man took it, and she saw on the receipt that there were these $600 shoes that were not her size. And so basically this man, the homosexual, had taken the credit card and bought shoes for another woman while she was with her because he had this power and trust that came from the fact that he was doing good things to her in the bedroom, right? So when I see this thing with Brittany Renner, I think that this is an area, again, you guys know I'm a financial expert, and the thing about financial stuff is like I think about money. Money doesn't interest me in the superficial ways. Like I don't care as much about things like Bloomberg terminals and 401ks and interest rates and all. That's important. I know those things, right? That's what my PhD's in. But I really became fascinated with all the different ways money affects your life in ways that you don't even realize. All the ways that Black wealth is leaked and we don't even think about it. All the ways that we make little choices that we think have nothing to do with our financial status, but they do every time. Like PJ Washington, this NBA star who had this baby with this lady, Brittany Renner, that's going to cost him about maybe $20 million or at least. I don't know how much he's going to, I don't know how much he's going to make over his, maybe he makes 200 million over the course of his career. He gives her 10% of that. And that's going to cost him $20 million. That's Black wealth that should have gone to his family. That isn't going to go to his family. It's going to go to Brittany's family because Brittany, they played a game and Brittany won. Right. So here's the deal. The last thing I'll say on this is that when I looked at Brittany Renner and sitting with Deion Sanders, and they're talking to these Jackson State players, and she's the hoeologist. She's giving them the game on groupies and hoes and all that. I didn't necessarily see Brittany as being intelligent. I saw her as slick. I saw slick. I didn't really see smart per se, but I did see slick. I saw calculated. I saw the fact that she was aware of a vulnerability that men have, which is sexuality, that some men just can't. If it looks good, they just got to hit it. And she was basically kind of at least being honest enough to say that this is where I get over. This is how I make my money. And that's how money actually operates in this society. Most groups that make lots of money make money off the vulnerability of another group. When Arabs and Asians come into Black communities and set up businesses to get money out of your community and give nothing back, they're taking advantage of a vulnerability that your families are not together and strong enough to actually build community buildings and businesses in your own community, that you don't actually have the vision to say, we need a store on this corner, let's build a store. Instead, you say, we need a store on this corner. When's a white man going to come in and put a store on this corner? Y'all need to build us a store so we can have a store, right? So that because that vulnerability is there, then someone else comes and exploits that. Another example is I talked to an estate planning attorney who said that they make all their money from another vulnerability, which is that people don't plan for their death. Everybody thinks they're going to live forever. So even wealthy people like Prince and DMX and others, they think they're going to live forever, and then they die. And then next thing you know, this estate is a big mess, and the lawyers get paid to go through and clean up the mess and organize it and decide who gets what, right? So typically people will exploit a vulnerability or a need that you have, right, that you haven't fulfilled for yourself. So Brittany Renner exploits a vulnerability. A vulnerability that she exploits is the fact that a lot of men, I'm not talking about the intelligent Black people, I'm not talking about the guys in this room and the women in this room, but she exploits the fact that athletes, notice when she gave that statement, where she really gave you a lot of honesty, which I appreciated, where she said that if you want to get a check, get it from sleep with an athlete, because athletes are dumb. She said they're dumb because they'll fuck anything and they don't wear condoms. And now the thing is, though, again, the reason I say she's slick but not intelligent is because she hasn't reflected on the fact that that when you're sleeping with somebody who doesn't wear condoms, well, what's going to happen to you, right? You're going to catch diseases, right? Bad things are going to happen to you. So this idea, this belief that hoes are winning, I think that's a false belief. I don't think the hoes are winning. I think the hoes are winning financially, perhaps, right? Maybe they're winning in a short-sighted, myopic sort of way, but I don't really believe that they're necessarily winning long-term if that's how you're living your life. Like, I don't see a Brittany Renner necessarily having this long and wonderful life. I see her having her moment, right? And then when she's older and she's not cute anymore, or she's got 10,000 STDs and 4 babies daddies, I don't necessarily see her life being as good as it is, or as good as it appears to be right now. So don't think the hoes are winning. I really think people that make smart decisions are the ones that are winning. And only you know what's going to make your life happy. Only you know what's going to make your life work for you. And so ultimately, I would encourage you to understand the importance of being strategic. And one of the biggest areas of wealth loss that we don't think about enough is the wealth loss that occurs because of a lack of family planning. I am all for Planned Parenthood, but not the Margaret Sanger style. I'm all for Planned Parenthood, but not the abortion clinics. I'm not talking about that. Planned Parenthood to me means that because I'm a god, right, or because you're a goddess, then that means that I'm only going to allow certain people to have access to the seat of a god, right? I'm only going to allow the god to be in certain situations with certain people, because I don't want anybody to come in and to ruin the good thing I have going on with myself and the good relationship I have with my future, right? Because I believe I'm a god, and I believe that all of us are gods. I believe all of us have a god inside of us. I'm going to protect that. I'm going to value that. It doesn't mean I can't enjoy the same things you enjoy. When I look at Brittany Renner, I think you'd be lying if you said that she wasn't an attractive lady. She's very attractive. But just because it looks good does not, who wrote the law that said that just because it looks good, you got to go lay down with that lady? Like, it don't make no sense to me. There's a million ways for you to still enjoy your manhood without you necessarily putting yourself and your family in significant risk. So I would encourage everybody to look at that stuff with not just the 2 eyes you have, but look at it with the 3rd eye. Look at it with some intelligence. Look at it from a strategic standpoint and really think about what you want your life to be. Okay, 15 years from now, I want to be educated. I want to be rich. I want to have a good family. I want to have healthy, happy children. I want to have something stable. I want to have control of my resources that are around me. I want to have my health. I want to have healthy relationships with the people around me. Brittany Renner fits nowhere into that life plan on any level, not at all. So I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just telling you that if you really want to get ahead in this game, in my view, and I'm not bragging or say I'm some sort of successful man. I am, but I don't really want to like make it all about me. It's not about me. But I can tell you that my path to success largely was questioning everything. The same way I question the government about, jabs and all that. I question other black people. I question black men ahead of me. I'd say, why do you think that they're having a liquor bottle in your hand all the time and sleeping with every woman that walks by? How's that working out for you? Because now I see you bitching constantly about child support, and your life is a mess. Like you can't get nothing done because your baby mama drama is so messed up that you can't even focus long enough to accomplish anything. I would see these things and I would say, okay, note to self. Don't do what he did, right? So I really hope, and I believe, here's the thing. I know a lot of athletes, like I know guys like Etan Thomas, who played for the Washington Wizards, who has a great wife that he's been married to for 20-something years. They have a great family. Etan, 6'8", 240 pounds, who's probably made, I'm going to guess, $50-60 million during his NBA career. Etan was a good player for the Wizards. And I'm sure that all the groupies chased him down. He's a smart guy. He's a good-looking man. He's a decent human being. But Etan, understood that everything that you can have just because you can have it doesn't mean you have to take it, right? It's like eating, right? Just because the food's on the table don't mean you got to eat it all, right? Because that food, eating too much of that food is going to make you sick. It's going to give you diabetes, right? You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a stroke off of that, right? And so a movie I would encourage you to maybe take a look at if you're into this kind of thing is I brought up this up before, but it made me really think a lot. And it's a movie called Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray is a story about a man who had access to whatever he wanted, all the women, all the money, all the power. He could kill people and get away with it. And what the movie's all about is how having access to everything really corrupted his soul and kind of ruined his life. And I think about Dorian Gray when I think about things like how Will Smith wrote in his biography. He's leaking little pieces of it. Honestly, I don't dislike Will and Jada, but I kind of wonder why they keep telling everybody all their business. But one of the things that he did mention was he said he had sex with so many women that he would start gagging and vomiting every time he had an orgasm. I said, how many women you got to sleep with before you start puking every time it's time to have an orgasm? That don't make that's crazy. That's what the hell? Like, so I personally think that gluttony is never going to win for you, never going to be a win for you. So if you're an athlete and you've got money and power and groupies and all that, enjoy your life, enjoy the spoils that come with success. But I don't think that this culture that we have that convinces men to just kind of lay up with anything and anybody is a smart culture. Again, and this doesn't even include the fact that you've got crazy people that'll accuse you of rape. And then next thing you know, your whole career is messed up because you can't unprove. It's hard to unprove that you did. It's hard to prove that you didn't rape somebody. It's just hard, right? You've got other situations that involve babies, mamas, and diseases and all that stuff. So there's nothing about a Brittany Renner to me that says an intelligent black man should want to sleep with her. The only reason I can see that happening though is because that girl is poison, right? And what I mean by that is she is so pretty. She is so, and because our male instinct is so strong that you sit down with her, it's like an alcoholic sitting down in the bar. It's like the fat kid sitting next to a bag of Twizzlers, right? And so ultimately what I would say is even from a strategic standpoint, a smart man says, okay, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not attracted to her, but I know I need to stay away from her, right? And that's another piece of strategy that you can apply in terms of being successful. Like, when I lost weight, I never ever started pretending like I don't enjoy candy. I just would say, I really like that candy, so please keep that out of my face. Don't even bring that in the house, because if it's in the house, I'm probably going to want to eat it, right? So I hope that this helps you. I don't mean to be preachy about it. And I think Deion Sanders did a good job by bringing her to campus. I think the guys need to hear from women like that. I think that's a good thing. But I really also think that to present it as if the women are always the demons and the men are always the victims, that's wrong. Just like it's wrong when the feminists present it as the men are always the bad guys and the women are always the victims. That's not true either. We know that that's not true either. At the end of the day, we all have accountability in the choices that we make. Every man that laid down with Brittany Renner made a choice to do that. And ultimately, whatever the consequences are, they belong to you. But if you really want to be successful, you got to play chess. And you got too many Negroes out here playing checkers, and they're wondering why you ain't winning. You might think you're winning because you're scoring touchdowns and you the man on campus and you got that NBA contract. But shit, just give it about a decade, bro. And I know, believe me, I've seen the other side of that fence. I've seen the other side of that, right? Remember, because I'm not 25, right? I'm 25 times 2, and I have seen the guy who goes from being the man to being like literally almost embarrassed about the status of his life. And so ultimately, planning and seeing the whole picture is really what makes you successful. It's not about seeing the here and now. Okay, because the present will always fool you and trick you into thinking that you're winning when really you ain't winning, bro. So just be smart. Just be smart. All right, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe before you go if you haven't done it. Also, go to boycewatkins.com if you want to see some of the stuff we have going on. You guys know I love to teach finance on a lot of different levels, and we actually have classes, stock market class, things like that. I would love to teach you. You can feel free to do a 30-day trial in my class for free and see if you like it. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com, or if you're on Instagram, the link is in the bio. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.